This morning, Justice Stephen Okon appointed State Acting Chief Judge. Governor Pabio attributes his administration's achievements to Akwa Ibom workers, plus valedictory court session held for retired Chief Judge Justice Idon Hello, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. My name is Augusta Essien. Governor Godswill Akpabio has approved the appointment of Justice Stephen Okon as the acting Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State. The appointment took effect yesterday. Governor Akpabio, in a statement issued by the Commissioner for Information and Communication, Mr. Nyeka Numana, has congratulated the acting Chief Judge on his deserved appointment and wishes him well in his new assignment. As workers in the state join their counterparts in more than 220 countries to celebrate the 2015 Workers' Day, Governor Godswill Akpabio has paid tribute to strong sense of solidarity from the workforce that made the attainment of his administration possible. The governor, who made his mind at the Uyo Township Stadium, said the Workers' Day is an acknowledgement of the great achievements and accomplishments of workers. Idum Asanya was there.
On behalf of my wife and myself and my various teams in the State Executive Council and government of Akwa Ibom State, I want to say thank you to the Akwa Ibom workers. Thank you to the Akwa Ibom workers. Thank you to the Akwa Ibom workers. You made the difference. You brought about the uncommon transformation of our state with the limited resources.
Governor Akpabio also applauded what he termed the patriotic involvement of workers in the 2015 elections and for ensuring that the will of the people prevailed. He advised those who lost at the general elections not to waste their resources at the tribunal, but to join hands in solidarity with Mr. Udom Emmanuel in developing the state. Governor Akpabio pointed out that the endorsement of Mr. Udom Emmanuel by organized labor, which has a voter in every household in the state, was key to PDP's success, since nobody has ever won as governor in Akwa Ibom State without the support of labor.
I'd like to set up a small committee which labor will be represented, and the incoming governor will also give us somebody to be on that committee so that we can look at all the issues you've highlighted here today and find ways of resolving some of them so that when he comes into office, there will be a seamless transition. And then you will extend to him the same kind of support and security that you have given me in 8 years, so that Akwa Ibom can continue to show example to the rest of the labor force in Nigeria. May this be our succession plan.
Conscious of the fact that the 2015 May Day celebration will be his last with workers as governor of the state, the governor took a victory lap round the stadium on arrival and acknowledged cheers from workers. The celebrations featured march past by labor unions affiliated to the Nigerian Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, as well as goodwill messages from stakeholders and key employers of labor.
Coming here, Madam, thank you very much for having taken a long shot.
Asai reporting.
A court session was held on Thursday in honor of the retired Chief Judge, Justice Idon Temiswa. The court session held in the Judiciary Multipurpose Hall, Wellington Vasiwe, Uyo. Etienne Oibala tells us more.
The event began with a review of parade mounted by a detachment of officers of the Nigeria Police and other uniform organizations. Speaking at the event, attended by government officials, members of the judiciaries, traditional rulers, family and friends of the retired Chief Judge, Justice Idon Temiswa acknowledged the support of the state judiciary and all those who, in one way or the other, contributed to our success in the bench. She listed achievements during her tenure to include establishment of family courts at the high and magistrate courts, creation of additional judicial divisions, training and retraining of all categories of staff, as well as appointment of 94 lawyers to preside over district courts in the state. Justice Ntemiswa, however, advised the incoming Chief Judge to continue to give the training and retraining of judicial workers a priority for optimal performance. According to her, Governor Godswill Akpabio accepted the creation of 3 additional judicial divisions in the state and urged the Attorney General to ensure that the Governor signs the order before leaving office.
It is expected that the new rules of procedure would reduce delays in the justice delivery system, but to achieve tangible, greater efficiency and speedier delivery of quality justice, a more fundamental change is imperative.
In their goodwill messages, branch representatives, senior advocates of Nigeria, read by Chief Asam Asam, State Attorney General Barrister Wemedi Monwoko, and the judiciary, read by Justice Charles Ikpe, congratulated the retired Chief Judge on her meritorious service and wished her success in her future endeavors.
Honorable Justice Idonsi Ntemiswa made history as the first female to win the John F. Kennedy Memorial Essay Contest at the national level. This was a refuge for a girl child in a society that abhors girl education.
I congratulate you on your retirement after 40 years of meritorious service to our nation, our state, the judiciary.
The Chief Registrar, Mr. Nyakanakwan, in a message, acknowledged what he called superlative exploits of the retired Chief Judge in the various educational institutions, career successes in the Ministry of Justice and the Judiciary, and congratulated her for a job well done. In a citation read by Justice Charles Ikpe, Justice Ntemiswa was born in 1950, obtained a first school leaving certificate in 1961, higher school certificate in 1969, graduated with a second-class upper division in law from the University of Lagos in 1973, and called to the Nigerian bar in 1974. Justice Ntemiswa said to have worked tirelessly for 17 years as a judicial officer before appointment as the Chief Judge in 2008, and put in 40 years of meritorious service to the state and nation. Gifts were presented to the retired Justice Ntemiswa, while some legal luminaries also commented on the retirement.
There has been a great improvement from what it used to be. As the outgoing Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom Honorable Justice, he remembers several things, among which he is excellent in all ramifications.
Always caring and always carrying the young lawyers along. And then she was very, very accommodating, not to mention she was such an intelligent judge.
Etienne Oibara reporting.
It was a memorable day for the family of the retired Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom, Justice Idonsi Ntemiswa, as top government functionaries, the judiciary, legislature, as well as traditional institution converged on Christ the King Cathedral, Wellington Basiwe, Uyo, for a Thanksgiving Mass in honor of the retired Chief Judge. Again, Etienne Oibala tells us more.
Convergence of who is who in the nation's judiciary, executive and legislative arms of government, as well as the religious and traditional institution, as they thronged the Christ the King Cathedral, Uyo, to celebrate God's faithfulness in the life of the retiring Justice Idonsi Ntemiswa. Governor Godswill Akpabio, in a message sent to the event, noted that women who are steadfast in the service of God have never failed in any endeavor. Represented by his deputy, Lady Valerie Ebe, Chief Akpabio congratulated Justice Ntemiswa for having a successful career, describing her as a symbol of pride, not only to the church, but to Akwa Ibom State. The governor acknowledged the supportive role of her husband, Engineer Anthony Basi Iswa, throughout a year of service in the judiciary.
The women, are the products of God that are so refined. And that makes them so responsible. That makes them occupy the position with pride. Why you always defend the jurisdiction of the courts?
In his remark, the governor-elect, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, described the retired Chief Judge as a humble, dedicated, and God-fearing judicial officer who have contributed immensely to the development of the judiciary in the state, adding that he would continue to seek our advice. He said it was worthy to celebrate the goodness of God in one's life through thanksgiving, as earthly things and positions of authority will vanish. The governor-elect also appreciated the people of the state for their prayers and for electing him as the next governor, promising that his administration will serve the interests of the people.
I see that embodiment of her spiritual power in her, and she has actually used that to preside over the affairs of the judiciary in our Bible state.
Preaching from Deuteronomy chapter 1 verses 1 to 10, the officiating priest, Very Reverend Father Emmanuel Ating, cited the leadership of Moses, who appointed leaders and judges with a charge not to pervert justice nor oppress the poor. He explained that as judges, they owe humanity and God the responsibility of ensuring effective dispensation of justice. The Reverend Father Ating decried a situation where those he said are supposed to be put behind bars are walking the street freely, while the innocent are languishing in prison. He therefore charged members of the judiciary to be fair and impartial in their judgment, adding that they will stand before God to give account of their services.
God and society has reposed great powers in your hands. You must be very conscious of how you exercise this power, because the just judge at the end of it will call you account.
Responding, the retired Chief Judge, Justice Idonisi Temiswa, thanked God for his benevolence on her and her family, and pledged to continue her services to God and humanity. Etienne Ibanga reporting.
The state government has inaugurated the 6th Children's Parliament. The Parliament has Master Seto Ibasi Diamond Domana as the Speaker, Faith Pauline Usumo, Deputy Speaker, while Victoria Kanekpeyo is the House Leader. The 3-year tenure Parliament, which will elapse in 2015, was inaugurated by the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Dr. Gloria Det. Eyaino Paul tells us more.
Other parliamentarians are Ndai Abasi Sunday Okun, Deputy House Leader, Edidiom Enobong Obong Ise, Clerk of the House, Enobong Oford, Deputy Clerk, and Esther Douglas Stephen, the Chief Whip. In Emesereti Bekwe is the Deputy Chief Whip, David Andy Johnson, Maze Bearer, while Christiana Wilson Essien will serve as the Deputy Maze Bearer. Inaugurating the 6th Children's Parliament, the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Dr. Gloria Edet, says the exercise has marked another milestone in history as it demonstrates the love for Akwa Ibom children. Dr. Edet said Nigeria has joined other nations of the world to emphasize the need for improved quality of life for children by enhancing their dignity as well as protecting their inalienable rights through signing and ratification of United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. She lauded the outgoing parliamentarians for playing by the rules of the game and enjoined the incoming one to live by the tenets of the House, which include building life skills and leadership qualities and providing a forum where children can express themselves and encourage friendship, among others. The wife of the governor, Mrs. Ekaito Norma Fabio, described Children's Parliament as global elevation for children and lauded the outgoing parliamentarians for their cooperation and dedication. Represented by the wife of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mrs. Ime Udokirian, Mrs. Akpabio said the incoming Speaker was always carrying himself like the Governor-elect, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, but called on him to serve diligently under his mentor's administration.
I believe that with the training you had for the past years and are now out, I believe you will be a very good leader in future.
The outgoing Speaker, Ms. Russia Netidok, thanked the people of the state for giving her and other parliamentarians the privilege to serve and complete their 3-year term in the House. Ms. Idok appreciated Chief Godswill Akpabio and wife for their parental care for the children by passing the Child Rights Act into law and called on the incoming parliamentarians to leave legacies on the sands of time. Her administration, she noted, has visited orphanages, reformative homes, children's centers to ascertain the welfare of children and appreciated her parents for being the brain behind her success.
As we hand over today, we take issues involving the future leaders as women, children survival, development, security, protection, and their future well-being are items of the order paper.
The incoming Speaker, Master Setoyo Obasi Diamond Umana, promised to continue where the outgoing parliamentarians stopped in defending rights of children at all times. Master Umana thanked the governor and wife for always being in the forefront of protecting Akwa Ibom children. The Speaker solicited cooperation from government agencies, non-governmental organizations, stakeholders, and the public on the fight against child abuse.
We are aware of the emergency so far and human achievements. I can assure you that we will continue from here to resolve the rest of the children.
High point of the inauguration was presentation of maize to the incoming Speaker, while other parliamentarians were given certificates. Yagen Opo reporting.
You're watching AKBC TV News. If you're just joining us, we told you earlier that following the retirement of the State Chief Judge, Justice Idaho Sentemiswa, Governor Godswill Akpabio has approved the appointment of Justice Stephen Okun as the acting Chief Judge of Akwa Ibom State. We also told you that the May Day was marked in Akwa Ibom State, where Governor Akpabio attributed the success of his administration to the solidarity of the workforce. We'll take a break. When we return, Akwa Ibom State University holds its first convocation lecture with the topic, The Past as the Guide to Our Future. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Special Advisor on Technical Matters, Engineer Iti Doyang, has predicted the continuous growth of the state in industrialization and job creation with the incoming administration of Governor-elect Mr. Udom Emmanuel. According to Engineer Yang, Mr. Udom Emmanuel could be described as the man of the moment who has promised to continue with the common transformation initiated by Governor Godswill Akpabio. The story is read in our studios.
Engineer Yang spoke at Ikorekpene during a thank you visit by the Mbiaso community in Ward 10 in Amayam Clan, Ikorekpene local government, over the support he gave that led to the success of the governor-elect at the polls. The special advisor thanked the people of Ward 10 and the entire Ikorekpene people for standing by him during the elections to vote for Udom Emmanuel, Governor Godswill Akpabio, and other PDP candidates. He also thanked them for appreciating the contributions of Chief Godswill Akpabio to uplift the image of Akwa Ibom at national and international spheres, assuring that with Udom, a lot would be achieved in the years ahead. Engineer Yang called on the people of Mbiaso to continue in their support to the incoming administration led by Mr. Udom Emmanuel, while also thanking them for the various gift items to him.
There must be continuity, and this kind of continuity through Udom Gabriel Emmanuel, coming with industrialization, coming with sustainability. sustainable development which His Excellency has done, and being an astute manager of funds. You know, Kida funds in Ibarami, that's why Mboge is the man of the moment.
Earlier, the leader of the Mbiaso delegation and coordinator of Udumi Manuel campaigns in Ward 10, Ikorekpene, Elder Sam Omo, had thanked Engineer Yang for giving them direction to vote Udumi Manuel and other PDP candidates. Elder Omo, a retired permanent secretary in Akwa Ibom, said the visit was for them to show appreciation over the emergence of Udumi Manuel as the governor-elect, Chief Godswill Akpabio as the senator-elect for Ikorekpene Senatorial District, Elder Emmanuel Akpan for the House of Representatives, and Idongozi Ntepere as the State Assemblyman-elect. He noted that the victory of PDP in Ikorekpene could not be chronicled without the name of Engineer Chidi Yang, but called on the special advisor to always involve the Mbiaso people in the administration while pledging the people's continuous support to Udom Emmanuel.
Udom Gabriel Emmanuel, the governor-elect, we have to felicitate with him because we have seen something in that man coming in to rule these states, and therefore I think he will follow the track of his predecessor and set the stage.
Our Professor Emeritus, Professor Reuben Kendrick Udoh, has identified the creation of the state, increase in federal allocation of funds, as well as the commitment and foresight on the part of the leadership of the state in the last 15 years as factors that have led to the transformation of the mainland part of the ex-Cross River State, now Akwa Ibom State. Professor Udoh stated this while delivering the first convocation lecture of the Akwa Ibom State University. According to Tam Monday, the lecture had as the topic, "The Past as a Guide to Our Future."
Professor Reuben Kendrick Udoh, 80, a professor of geography and a former deputy vice chancellor of the University of Ibadan, said if the state had not been created, infrastructural facilities now put in place such as good rail network, overhead bridges, airport and good hotels which have attracted visitors would not have been there. He pressed the various governments for the fight to abrogate the oil dichotomy and for having the foresight and commitment to use the increased resources to develop the state. The Don was however quick to point out that Nigeria is lacking honest and selfless leadership, which he noted are further compounded by ethnic loyalty, which would have taken the country to an enviable position among nations of the world.
Given the happening today in our country, Nigeria, and especially in our own dear state and homeland of Akwa State, it is appropriate as we celebrate this milestone event in our young state university to look back at how Akwa State, a notorious source region of domestic servants, has come to acquire its present status of one of the few empire states in this country.
He hinted that the country may go through debt crisis as it has failed to properly manage its resources and saving for a rainy day. He noted that the country's past has not been allowed to guide the future. The Don lauded the establishment of the Akwa Ibom State University and the achievements recorded since it was established. They said a lot needed to be done to justify its existence 12 years since the bill establishing it was signed into law. While acknowledging that the past 4 years of its existence has resulted in the graduation of its first batch of students, Professor Reuben Udoh pleaded that the Academic Staff Union of Universities be allowed to function in the university. He charged the graduating students not to consider their degrees an end in itself, but a stepping stone to getting what they desire in life.
To go out into the world, you apply yourself seriously to whatever job you do. Remember that one day you will be an old citizen, even though you live in an age that old people are despised. Bear in mind that the old age always is not easy for a good man if he is poor. But more importantly, as a bad man will never be careful with himself even if he is rich.
The Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Inoiba, described the lecturer as one of the greatest Akwa Ibom academics and one of the first Deputy Vice Chancellors of the premier university in Nigeria, the University of Ibadan. He expressed his institution's gratitude to Professor Udo for accepting to deliver the first convocation lecture of the Akwa Ibom State University.
The lecturer is no mere person. He's one of the greatest academics that we have, who is from Akwa Ibom State. And to give the first convocation lecture of this university, we should showcase us who are so far and near to project education in this country.
Earlier, the Vice Chancellor had received the Chancellor of the University and Emir of Kazaure in Jigawa State, Alhaji Najib Hussaini Adamu, who arrived in the institution for the lecture. Guests and members of the university community were treated to a performance by the students of the Department of Performing Arts and a convocation dinner. Tom Monday, reporting.
As the world celebrates the International Workers' Day 2015, Mercy Akara gives an overview of how the day was celebrated in some countries of the world in our foreign segment news.
The International Workers' Day was chosen to commemorate the May 1st, 1886 Haymarket Affair in Chicago, when workers went on strike to demand an 8-hour working day. What began as a peaceful rally soon became violent when the police tried to disperse the workers and an unknown person threw a bomb at the police. The police responded with ensuing gunfire. At least 7 police officers and citizens were killed, others injured. International Workers' Day is an economic achievement in the international labor movement and social justice and internationally recognized human and labor rights. Also as or May Day, the event is widely in many countries across the globe. In Beijing, China, flocks of visitors from outside the city enjoyed the national holiday at the For China, May 1st is also a celebration of the sun. In Istanbul, the police May Day demonstrators clashed as they was to defy a government ban by trying to march to the city's iconic Taksim Square. In South Korea, thousands marched in to protest government labor policies. In Cuba, the International Workers' Day was celebrated at the Havana Revolution Square. In the United States, the people were prepared to handle demonstrators as the day has in recent years been marked by vandalism and violent between protesters and police. In the U.S., African Americans protested over killings of the blacks. Nigerian female footballer Azizat Oshoala is one of the 5 contestants of the BBC Service Inaugural Women's Footballer of the Year award. The other 4 contestants are Veronica Bouquet from Germany, Kito from Scotland, and Martin from Brazil. A panel of experts decided short list. Nigerian Aziz Bola is a professional footballer who plays for Liverpool Ladies. 8th player of the season, she was best player and second top goal scorer during the 2019 African Women's Championship. The winner of the BBC Women's Footballer of the Year award will be revealed on May 6 after being decided by a public vote. Ahead of the United May elections, leaders of political parties have been questioned by a live television audience. After the program, an independent poll of viewers conducted showed that 44% Minister David Cameron gave the best performance, 38% judged Ed Miliband of the Labour Party as best, while 19% went for Liberal leader Nick Clegg. Other party leaders who took Nigel Farage of Independent Party, Nick of Scottish Nationalist Party, and Lynn Wood, a Welsh nationalist.
That's a package this morning, but just before we go, another look at the top stories. Justice Stephen Okon has been appointed the acting chief judge of Akwa Ibom State. The appointment takes immediate effect. Governor Godswill Akpabio has attributed the achievements of his administration to Akwa Ibom workers. He made the pronouncement at the Leadership Stadium during this year's Workers' Day celebrations. And that's a package. Remember to join us at 12 for yet another package. From me, it's good morning.